Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Writer Channel. I am Ben Popper. I'm a director of content here. Today, I'm going to be chatting with my colleague, Megan, our Asana queen, the one who is running and organizing everything, about some of the everyday automations she's built that, when they stack up every week or every day, can end up saving you hours of time, not to mention things that can sometimes feel like a chore. Megan, want to quickly introduce yourself to everybody?
Hey, everybody. I am Megan, and I am the lead for our strategic projects here at Writer on our marketing team. And like Ben mentioned, I spend a lot of my time thinking about how is our marketing team not only using Writer, but using Writer to make our days more efficient and taking out some of the drudgery that we all hate.
Yes. Strategic lead for projects is code word for herding the cats, keeping all the ships turning in the
Yeah.
right directions, bringing together what 100 different people are talking about as we head through each quarter's list of priorities. So, Megan, I know that you have, meetings back to back every day, and a lot of it is people trying to align on what the next action item is or align on how we're going to hit a certain deadline. Can you talk a little bit about the writer agent that you cooked up that helps with taking those meetings and making sure that you can stay on top of what people discussed and also the action items that come next?
Yep. So, from my point of view, the meetings where we're all gathering, we're collecting context, we're aligning is really the magic that's going to bring the project to life that we're working on. So, I built an agent that can take in the context, and in this case, it's a meeting transcript from our most critical sessions. So, here at Writer, we do a weekly production sync, taking in across our different functions. What are we working on? How are we trending towards our most important projects? The thing for me is that these meetings are really useful. I get a lot of benefit out of it and alignment. The meeting's over. I look at my calendar. Okay, I got to hop into another one. So we're getting further and further away from that alignment going into action. So the playbook that I built and use very often can take in with using an event-based trigger, the moment that my meeting ends, grabs the transcript from my Google Calendar using a connector, creates and synthesizes a very actionable Slack message that I can either tweak, which I think that there's something there that I have a lot of knowledge up in my head. What do I want to tweak to make sure that this message is the most effective? And send it out immediately to my team. This is something easily 30 minutes of kind of looking at my notes. What did we talk about? What did we align on? Oop, there was a difference in what we talked about last week. I need to make sure I capture that. Easily 30 minutes. Now, 5, even with some tweaks, send it out to the team. We're making moves immediately when I am in back to back meetings. So I can't really come up, like breathe up for air until like 4 p.m.
Yeah, I think the example you showed off to me, which we'll try and highlight maybe here in the video as I'm talking, is a fig jam, right? So it's like, let's get really creative. Like, let's bounce ideas around. Let's throw some sticky notes up. That's not something that is necessarily easy to digest afterwards or easy to put into a bullet point list of here's what we agreed on, here's what we didn't, here are the action items, here are the things we still need to work out next week. And so I was really impressed. Not only can writer agent take the context of a meeting from a transcript, but I think you gave it like a screenshot of the fig jam, or like you shared a visual and it was also able to break that down. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, and what's so great about a fig jam or anything of the sort is that it's rooted in collaboration. Us all in the team are gathering either physically or virtually to move stickies around, talk in a little bit more of a dynamic way. And this collaboration brings such great ideas and innovation, but we got to get that into action. And so that was what's very helpful about the playbook that I've created as well. All it takes is a simple screenshot of this like really rich time we spent together, and that will help us align even further. So it's kind of weaving all the connective tissue together.
And I think that people, or at least I, really enjoy getting together and having discussions and idea
Yeah.
sessions with other people. Taking the notes, I might have predicted that you would enjoy that, but even
So
you
I do.
do not. Okay,
No, I
you
do.
do
It's
enjoy it, but
being
it takes
taken
you more
away.
time.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah,
exactly.
yeah. The AI is taking your a job you love, but it is one that we're okay giving to the AI. No,
Yes,
it's true.
yes, I'm willing to give that one up.
So in this case, we have some basic connectors, like the Google Doc of where it's sitting, or Gong call if that's where the transcript is. Writer agent could do transcripts for us, and then it's a Slack connector to send the message. But let's talk a little bit about sort of like the context that an AI agent needs to be informed about all this. Like if it comes in cold and it doesn't know the projects we have for the quarter, what this meeting is about, what the upcoming deadlines are, I don't think it's going to do a great job helping you to set priorities and digest what just happened. So, how do you supply it with that layer of intelligence, that knowledge, that context?
I think many of us know this now about AI, but it's not just simply give it a prompt, it gives you output, you send it out. You have to be very like 360 degrees awareness of the context that your company is building. So it's going to look very different for everybody's role, but let's just say for myself, my 360 degrees of context are projects that we're aligning on in Asana. And for those that use project management systems, that's the work. That's the embodiment of the work is in there. That is the meetings that we're in, so the transcripts from the meeting, so much rich context there. It's Slack, and Slack or other Teams, there's constant chat all day long in our DMs, also in channels. But those 3 pieces in my role are critical to align on giving context into the playbooks that I'm running to make sure that we are doing the things that we're saying that we're gonna do and trending in the right direction, identifying blockers, things like that.
Yeah, I think, for myself as a content marketer, there's a few other things I add, and I could see you layering these on. Maybe they're not necessary, but I love having things like a knowledge graph or a file that's updated monthly that has all of product marketing's latest messaging, ideas about personas, keywords to use and not to use, because it can be difficult when you're just in the flow of trying to create stuff and hit deadlines to be constantly aligned on the language you want to use. And I feel like within the writer platform, it's now like I have someone from that team on my shoulder. It's like they're in there collaborating with me because they've refined this messaging document. And I also, can sometimes layer on skills that are just fact checking, brand compliance is a great one, or even looking for like the little AI isms that bother all of us, blasting those away so that, like, what comes out in the end is closer to the voice, that we want here, maybe, or the voice, the sentiment that came out of that meeting.
Totally. And to your point on scaling your PMM team's product messaging or your brand messaging, what is a key part there is that using skills allows you to scale your team's expertise. The power is that they also are maintaining this skill. It's evolving with them. It isn't this like single point in time and this is the brand messaging forever. There's this evolution and now we have this vehicle to scale messaging like we've never seen before.
Yeah. So there was another demo you did yesterday. And again, this is about getting lost in that sea of context, the context switching between Asana, a Google Doc, a Slack, and email, bringing it all together so that you can take the noise of the day and separate the signal from the noise, go into tomorrow feeling great. You call it the executive assistant. Tell us a little bit about what it is you built and how it operates.
Sure. So this is just very specific to me. In the way that I work. But what is really amazing about Writer and the platform in general is that you're able to, with plain language, customize the way that you work. So for myself, I want to end the day with my executive assistant, my chief of staff playbook, giving me a rundown of what happened today and what do I need to prepare for tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I want to be able to close my laptop at the end of the day and basically say, I'm prepped for tomorrow, which is a tall task. So what it does is it goes and takes context throughout my day. That would be all the messages sent to me in Slack on channels or DMs, or that is the important meetings with transcripts in my calendar, what's happening in Asana. Synthesizes that and gives me a rundown of what are my most important action items, what are some blockers, and what do I need to prep for so that I'm ready for the next day.
So let me throw something at you just as you think about where we're going to be in 2 or 3 months, because the writer platform and agents are constantly evolving. How would you take, this from sort of beginner to intermediate to advanced? For me, when I hear what you're talking about, it's a lot about the connectors and the context. It's about maybe a skill that tells the agent exactly how to configure that Slack message or that executive update so that it's suited to you. I love the idea that with the meeting summary, it's taking action even if you don't ask it to, right? Like it's looking for a calendar event and then it's going in and figuring it out. For myself, one of the things that I've noticed recently is the ability to have agents really stretch across multiple surfaces. So I write a blog in Google Docs, I ask it to upload it to WordPress. When I feel like it's good, I let the agent know. It checks the task as done in Asana and then sends a Slack message to, the room letting folks know that we're on to the next step. That to me is like removing the busy work that people often forget and then it becomes a blocker. I forgot to say, oh, the blog is staged in drafts, it just needs a copy edit, and now it's on to you. When the agent can pick up that kind of work, it's like this facilitator for momentum, within the company and within the organization. But for you, thinking about the everyday automations you have, what is that like, next level? What is that future state that you're excited about?
Sure, I think there's definitely something on my side as well with pushing communications out. So when I'm not just planning for what I'm going to be doing for the next day, I'm wanting to maybe automate alignment with my team. And that could look like updating tasks inside of Asana. That could look like scheduling sessions, automatically because that has been brought up in a transcript. So just taking things that I would have been doing physically and doing those things automatically. And we have things like triggers inside of Writer that can help do this and kind of set moments in time. I do this inside of Asana quite a bit that goes and takes kind of snapshots in a certain time inside of Asana based off of a time-based trigger to understand how is a certain project doing? How is a certain team doing? And then that can help me push out communications into those tickets to drive alignment in a different way.
And, I think you and I are on the planning side, the content marketing side. I create things that then go into demand gen campaigns. And so there is a way in which I'm responsible for pipeline. The projects that you're pushing forward are all part of our goal to hit a certain pipeline number. But another thing I see that's really amazing is setting up systems with Writer Agent to proactively monitor for opportunities like, oh, this new lead just came into HubSpot, or this lead that was really warm, we noticed just opened up an email, downloaded something. Now is the time to activate that. And it sends a Slack message, to the right person, to the right SDR, to the right CSM to increase their velocity. Now we're moving from the old school, oh, I have a need, I'm going to ask a chatbot, it's going to produce content, to the more intermediate, I have a need. And when I ask the chatbot, it has the context and the connectors it needs to work, to this agent is always on, waiting to execute a
Yeah.
task on my behalf and therefore open up more opportunity or velocity.
Yeah, so this idea of always on opens up a level of scalability that we've never before been able to kind of put our hands on just in the way of working. That can mean that you can scale ABM efforts in a way that you probably just wouldn't have considered. So you push out a new piece of content. Well, what does that mean to the warmest leads in your database? What can you do to personalize content so that you're getting to the right person at the right time with the most relevant information. And yeah, this is going to be a new muscle for us all to build too as we grow into more AI native marketing systems.
Yeah. All right. That's an awesome place to leave it. We talked a little bit about everyday automations. If you work in marketing or, a go to market motion and you're looking to sort of level up with AI, subscribe to the channel. We come back every week with folks from Writer talking about how we use AI internally, dogfooding our own tools to try to take things to that next level. Megan, it was awesome to be on the webinar with you and to have the conversation. I will see you soon.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
All right. Cheers, everybody.
Bye.